What's up guys, I'm Jack and this is Daisy. Daisy, say hi. And welcome to another video. So after the last video, can I beat Elden Ring as Saint Trina and Miquella? I thought it would be fun to do another cosplay run, but this time as Malenia, Miquella's twin. And thankfully this cosplay is even easier to pull off than Miquella because, well, we get Malenia's sword, we get her incantation, and we get her entire armor set just by defeating her. So we're in New Game Plus right now, and what are the rules? Well, we have to be Malenia the whole time. That means only using the Hand of Malenia and Scarlet Aeonia, as well as her armor set. We have to be at 40 Vigor or below 40 Vigor until Radahn in the DLC. No summons except for Egon, of course. No damage buff incantations, so only defense buffing incantations. And we have to get all 26 Remembrances, 25 plus Bayle. And no damage buffing incantations, so no Golden Vow or Flame Grant Me Strength or anything like that. I will allow defense buffing incantations, but no damage buffing ones, just to make this a little bit harder. So yeah, I did die to Godrick on my first attempt trying to get him Scarlet Rotted, and that was embarrassing, but it happens. Second attempt though, it goes a lot better. I do rot him, and well, you guys know how his second phase is. Now, unfortunately, I can't show the full fight for every single boss, otherwise this video would be over 2 hours long, and we don't want that. So I'm just going to cut out some of the more boring boss fights, like the middle of Godrick, for example, but I'll just show you guys the most interesting and fun boss fights. As you guys can imagine, Godrick was so easy. I'm still embarrassed that I lost on my first attempt, but we can just chalk that up to Scarlet Aeonia taking forever to get off. That sounded weird. And we run into the dragon over here to grab the Academy Glintstone key in Liurnia, and we continue heading north. We fight Loretta and we beat her on our first try, and then we go talk to Ronnie. Now we need to knock out a quest line in order to get the Carrion inverted statue. Now once we get that statue from Ronnie, we can grab the Curse Mark of Death, and we need that to fight Lich Dragon Fortissax. Rennala's up next, of course, and yeah, that is a creepy intro. Just want to point this out, my weapon is still only at +3, so yeah, we don't do too much damage, and we didn't get the one phase on her, but I mean, phase 1 was still really easy. And again, this is done on purpose, just to get a little bit more challenge out of this challenge run. New Game Plus in Elden Ring is very, very easy if you have fully upgraded gear. Now, we absolutely destroyed Rennala in phase 2. Good God, I didn't realize it would stagger her that much. Ow. Alright, get over here. Let's finish this. It's now time for the Radahn Festival, and Radahn should be pretty fun, right? Now, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but I made sure to grab the new Wondrous Physic tier that allows you to parry better. I don't know what it's called, I should probably look that up. Yeah, that. Enhances Spontaneous Guard in a mixed physic. And yeah, that just turns the game into like Sekiro, or I guess it would more closely resemble Lies of P, to be honest. Great game, by the way. I would love to do a challenge in that game at some point. I love it. It's so much fun. Anyway, that was basically the entire reason why I wanted to do Malenia as a run, just because I wanted to try out that crystal tier. I'd never really practiced with it at all, and I wanted to. And oh my god, it's so much fun. Though, to be honest, I didn't really get good at it until after the end of the base game. But yeah, it should be pretty interesting to watch too, because you guys will be able to see my progression learning how to use this crystal tier. Because at first, and like during this Radahn fight, I like barely used it, but then later on, like for Radagon and Godfrey and Malenia in the base game, I mainly use that over dodging. So yeah, it's fun. It's such a cool way to play the game, and I really like it. I'll probably use it more, to be honest. And to think for the longest time, I only used magic builds. Like, I did not want to learn how to melee. And now it's so much fun. I love this game. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, in order to use this crystal tier, you just need to hold the block button with your sword or whatever you're using. Quite literally the second that an enemy is about to hit you. And then it won't do any damage to you. And you can also get off a counter attack that does a hell of a lot of poise damage. So next we run into the Regal Ancestor Spirit, and guys, I'm not gonna lie, this guy was actually kind of tough with without a fully upgraded weapon. Maybe he's giving me so much trouble because I don't know his moveset at all. So if you have any like fire weapon or weapon that's higher than +3, you can absolutely decimate this boss. And you really don't need to learn his moves because he dies so quickly. But my current build isn't quite that strong yet, so it actually turned out to be quite the extended boss fight. Scarlet Rot helped out a bunch until he healed back nearly his entire health bar, so that was fun. But eventually we got him pretty low. And we eventually managed to take him down. Again, this is a very long boss fight. But, you know, I kind of respect this guy a little bit more now. I never really put any thought into him, and he does have a cool moveset, and his magic is really sick, and his design is cool. But he also doesn't strike me as a Remembrance boss. He just comes out of nowhere. Wow, we're only at 4 out of 26. Good God. This is taking longer than I thought it would. Yeah, so while we're in the underworld, we go ahead and grab the Finger Slayer blade from this box right here, so that we can take it back to Ranni. This is the first part of her quest line, and after that she is going to give us the Carrion inverted statue, so technically we don't need to continue this quest line after this. I place the statue down and then this whole place flips over or something. I don't know, magic is weird. Make my way through, beat up a fat guy, and then make my way to the top of this tower in front of us in order to get the curse mark of death. I know. It's pretty spooky. Pretty spooky. We're gonna need that though for a quest. I continue my trek through the underworld and make my way to the Ainsel River, where we find a miniature Ranni doll. And then we go rest out of sight of Grace and try to speak to the doll. She tells us that we need to find and destroy the baleful shadow that is hunting her down. So, we go do that. And honestly, this guy took me like 3 tries. He actually does a lot of damage, and his sword has the death effect on it, so the destined death effect on it. And even if we parry the sword, it still does damage to us. That's not great. But then, once I realized that Waterfowl Dance basically stun locks him, it was pretty easy. It was more of a challenge than I envisioned, but we made it through. Now we have to go through the Lake of Scarlet Rot here, and then make our way to the next Remembrance boss, Astel, Natural Born of the Void. This was pretty spooky. And it was also the first challenge that we faced in this run. Astel took me more than a few tries. Our sword is underleveled still, and we don't have that much dexterity or health. But mainly, I just don't know her moveset. Hi, Daisy. Now, I have fought Astel a number of times. Probably about 5 to 10 times. But, hi, Daisy. But I have fought Radahn like a million times, so I'm losing my train of thought. Daisy, your breath smells so bad. Good God. What are you eating, girl? Anyway, what I was trying to say is that I don't know Astel's moveset very well, especially compared to some other bosses such as Radahn, who I've fought so many times. Make sense? Daisy, brush your teeth, please. Also, why is your tail wet? Ugh. Ugh. Okay, eventually I did get a good run against Astel. I remembered that if you just smack her head a bunch with some jump attacks, it's usually pretty good at getting a poise break. And then once you get a poise break, of course, you can deal a bunch of uninterrupted damage to her. So yeah, I mean, it took a little while and more than a few tries, but we did eventually take her down. And that brings us to, what, 5? Wow. It's been 4 hours and we only have 5 remembrances. That is, not great. Anyway, with Astel down, we can complete Ranni's quest, just because why not? We're right next to it anyway. So we make our way further and down to Ranni's body. I slip the ring on her finger and Ranni becomes my queen. Perhaps I'll summon her once we get the Elden Ring. Or perhaps not. We do have a couple of choices. And I guess you guys will just have to wait and see which ending we choose. Godfrey's up next, and this was a good test of our parrying ability. And it still wasn't great, though it was getting better. I mean, look at that, 2 in a row? That's pretty good. But we took Godfrey out, Golden Godfrey, and we made our way to Morgott. Of course, the first thing that I tried to do was get a Scarlet Rod off on him, and we were successful. It's really, really nice to just have that extra damage over time. It makes things so much easier. Especially for one fight in particular, which might have been quite literally impossible without Scarlet Rot, or maxing out my vigor. And I believe that's actually next on the list. Where's all this water come from, by the way? Like, why does he just summon sewer water? That's disgusting. That's so gross. But after wading through sewer water for a couple minutes, Morgott, like all others before him, has fallen. That was good timing too, because we were out of healing and we only had barely any health left. So that was pretty lucky. But we gotta start another quest line, and we talked to Fia over here. And I love Fia, she is so sweet. She gives us a nice little hug and then kills this guy. Basically my dream girl. And we have to go back into the underworld to face Fia's champions. Then we talk to Fia like a bunch and rest out of sight of grace, and talk to her again, and then rest out of sight of grace again, and then talk to her and rest out of sight of grace. And then we can fight Lich Dragon Fortissax. But Fia's champions didn't really give us too much trouble, though they did take us out one or 2 times, but we don't talk about that. No, Fortissax, like many other bosses before him, can be Scarlet Rotted, so that's the first thing that I did. Again, that damage over time is so nice. I love it. Especially because so many bosses are susceptible to it, surprisingly. Now, similar to Astel, I didn't really know Fortissax's moveset that well. I mean, how often do you fight this guy, you know? So I got tossed around a bit and struck by a lot of lightning because I'm dumb. And fire breath. But it's okay. As long as I can tank through everything and heal, we don't need to worry about dodging, because who needs to dodge? Come on. I thought I dodged that. Alright. Why did I heal there? God. Okay. Yeah, smack that tail. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Goodbye, Fortissax. Next. Finally feels like we're making a little bit of progress here. Already up to 7 remembrances. That's like almost a remembrance an hour. We also grabbed the Mending Rune of Death while we're over there, just so that we have the option for a different ending. And we go to the Volcano Manor next to talk to Tanith, go through the secret room, and run past everybody for a little while. until we can make our way all the way to Rykard. And yeah, this is the difficult fight that I mentioned earlier. Rykard is not meant to be fought with close-range melee weapons, I'll tell you that much. So Scarlet Rot was quite literally invaluable here, and I do not know how much time I would have wasted had I not had access to Scarlet Rot. So phase 1 really isn't too bad. I mean, of course, I died a lot trying to learn the best way to take on this fight. And I figured out that if I can get a Scarlet Rot off on him first, and then just run up behind him, he usually doesn't do too much. So, that's exactly what I did for most of my phase 1 attempts. Scarlet Rot, run behind, smack him with my sword for a bit, and eventually he would pass on into phase 2. Now that doesn't look too bad, does it? Oh, phase 2 is a bit more rough. That is, until I decided that I didn't need to use my sword at all. Once I learned that, well, phase 2 is pretty easy. So what I would do in phase 2 is, I would run up to him, I would give him the rot, and then I would run away. Yeah. I would run, and run, and run, until the Scarlet Rot wore off, and then I would run back up to him, give him Scarlet Rot again, and then run away. That was the only way to do this, I promise. And I really didn't want to waste hours upon hours trying to smack him with my sword and getting murked by him, because he does do a lot of damage. Plus it's really annoying standing in the lava and constantly getting staggered. Just not a good time. So yeah, this is the move right here, that's for sure. Thankfully I barely had enough FP to get one last rod off on him, and if we could just survive running away for a while, oof, that was close. This would finally be over. Oh, I don't know if I talked about this in my previous video. I was just thinking about it right now. I started watching Supernatural again. I used to love that show when I was younger. But like, the first 2 seasons are actually decent writing. Like, it's pretty solid. I guess when I look back on Supernatural, I remember the later seasons where the writing is just absolutely bonkers, for lack of a better word. So I guess it just surprised me to see that, you know, it used to be really solid. So that was really nice. Anyway, on to Fire Giant next, and it's story time. So over this summer I went to Germany to visit a friend and her parents, and we did a road trip around like Italy and Switzerland and Austria and Germany. And anyway, her dad plays Elden Ring, and he was stuck on the Fire Giant for so long. So I of course brought up the topic of Elden Ring, and I was like, hey, are you still stuck on the Fire Giant? Can I help you out? And man, it was so sweet. He was like, yes, please. I want to beat this guy so badly. Please just beat him for me. And he pulled up like a nice chair and like brought it right in front of the TV. He was like, here, this is the gaming chair. He gave me his controller. He pulled up Elden Ring, and well, turns out his L2 on his controller was broken, so he couldn't use any Ashes of War. Which, I mean, not the biggest problem, I suppose. But he was using the Sword of Night and Flame, which, I mean, you only really use that sword for the Ash of War. And it did take me a few tries, but I did, of course, beat the Fire Giant on his account, and he actually had a decent build too, so he was pretty high level, like around 200, fully upgraded Sword of Night and Flame. His stats were good, his armor was good. He was using a medium roll, which, I mean, at least it's not a heavy roll. But it was just so sweet, such a great guy. I'm really glad I could help him out there. I hope he continues his run too, I don't know if he did. But I'm sure he could have beaten the Fire Giant if he had access to the Ash of War, because Sword of Night and Flame's magic Ash of War actually does so much damage to the Fire Giant, it's pretty wild. But anyway, back to my run. So after one last hit, we can beat the Fire Giant and burn the Erd Tree. I can't believe I missed that. That would have been such a cool way to end it. Hang on, one sec. Oh, there we go. We gave him the rot. Okay, let's move on. So we can burn the Erd Tree and then head on to the Crumbling Farum Azula. And we gotta take on a few bosses there. The Godskins, of course, being the first set of bosses, and I brought some sleep pots just for this occasion. And as you can imagine, it went pretty well. I used to never use sleep pots against these guys, but now that I realize power, yeah, now I'm never not gonna use sleep pots against these guys. They're the worst. I will never fight them legit again. You know what? I can't think of anything else to say right now. I'm gonna go make some breakfast, and I'll be right back. You know what? I'll bring you guys with me, actually. Hang on. So today I'm making some avocado toast, and I start by cutting some carrots and onions to saute in a pan for a little while. Place them in my well-oiled and heated pan, of course, and I crack an egg in the smaller pan. I get my bread ready, and I made this a couple days ago, so it's getting a little bit hard, but it is still edible. Got some slices, and I put it in the oven for a bit, just to get it nice and toasty. While my veggies and toast are cooking, I am gonna need to get the avocado ready, so I cut the tip off the avocado and squeeze all that green stuff out, and then I take the seed out of the bowl as well. Don't want avocado seed on my avocado toast. And I also add some frozen roasted corn to my veggies, and I didn't add that earlier on because the frozen part of it would have messed with the sauteing process. Now my toast is toasted. I spread the avocado and add my toppings. But we're not done quite yet. We're not done yet. We need some seasoning, so I sprinkle a little bit of salt on top of all that and then add some paprika. It really brings it all together. And by the way, if you don't like onions, carrots, or corn, you don't need to put that on your avocado toast. It's unnecessary. I just like it. This is a Jack breakfast, and you should adapt it to however you like and whatever you like on it. I also made some scrambled eggs. Anyway, time to make some coffee. So I grind up some coffee beans and add those grounds to my little espresso machine. It's not very good, but it does the trick. And though it doesn't come out as good as a latte from a coffee shop, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than buying a $7 latte every morning. So we tamp down the grounds inside of my little espresso cup thingy, and I also add some brown sugar to the top and tamp that down as well. And that is my favorite way to make espresso, personally. We called it a cortadito at the coffee shop that I used to work at. That's where I learned how to do this. Anyway, we get that espresso brewing, and the amount of liquid in my little espresso thing would be equivalent to about a quad shot, so 4 shots of espresso. Though, since this doesn't have as much pressure as a professional espresso machine, it's not nearly as strong as a quad shot, so it's probably equivalent to like a double shot in terms of caffeine level. Anyway, I add some milk to it and pour that over ice. Wow, that is the perfect amount. And on top, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon just to finish it off. And there we go. We got some avocado toast, we got coffee. That is a classic Jack breakfast. Again, change it to suit however you like it. I was originally going to do pierogies for this one. I already had that recorded and stuff, but, you know, this is more fun. Alright, on to Maliketh, and of course I died in my first try, but, I mean, the parry was pretty fun with this. It takes a very special type of boss to be able to utilize this Wondrous Physic tier effectively. And Maliketh's Phase 1 allowed me to learn a bit more and practice a bit more with it, so I had fun in Phase 1. And Phase 2 is not too bad either, it's just, well, sometimes the Destined Death effect still procs even if we parry his attack, so it can be annoying, but not the worst thing in the world. But I mean, as you guys can see, I'm still not very good with the parry yet. I still didn't understand it fully, and to be honest, I still don't think I understand it completely, but yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. You'll see some later fights where it's actually like fun and cool to watch. But yeah, I go for a Scarlet Rot here. I wasn't sure if it would carry on into Phase 2, but didn't really matter regardless. So after I dodge his initial barrage of attacks, I go for another Scarlet Aeonia. Thankfully don't get hit too many times and manage to get the rod off. Now as long as I can heal up, all I need to do is really run around the arena for a bit and, well, he'll eventually perish. But that's kind of boring, so we're going to try to fight him. Honestly, I might just let the Scarlet Rot finish him off. Don't die. Alright, one more hit. Nice. That was easy. Nice. That was easy. And pretty fun. I figured while we're over here, I might as well try to fight Placidusax. And, it wasn't too bad. Scarlet Rot is really good. It's really good. I'm so glad I had access to this spell, as so many bosses would have been so much more difficult without it. It took a few tries, but I learned that you have to wait until after he's done with his lightning strikes. He does 4 of them at the beginning. So once the 4th one strikes, then you can use the Scarlet Aeonia and try to get him rotted. Hi Daisy. And if I remember correctly, it does take 2 full incantations for him to get rotted, yeah. So as long as he's standing in both of them, he'll get the rot and get some residual damage over time. Thankfully I managed to dodge his fire and back up and heal. And I'm going to start attacking him now. I'm not just going to wait for him to pass away. That'd be kind of boring. Plus, I like getting a poise break on him. I don't know why, I just find it especially satisfying with this boss. Thankfully, we get him down pretty quickly, and into phase 2. Again, Scarlet Rot is so nice. It's so nice. Phase 2 is where things get interesting though. So I love his attacks in phase 2, I think they're really cool. There is one attack in phase 2 that I usually have some trouble dodging, and that's the one where he starts off with his fire breath and then it turns into the big freaking lasers. And the best way to dodge that is by being up close to him. But if you're far away, you're probably going to get hit. So it's about getting lucky with your spacing. But I did get a poise break there and some decent damage off. And we're almost there. Only about a third of his health left, and wow. Waterfowl Dance does a lot to him. I love when he flies away like that. It's perfect time to heal and get ready, and this attack is actually really easy to dodge too, so like, nice. Uh-oh. Don't kill me, please. Please. Alright, well, we're out of healing, but he's almost dead too, so... So we got him pretty low, and the Scarlet Rot unfortunately wore off, which means we're going to have to handle this ourselves with our own weapon. And after all of his teleporty attacks, we should get an opening to do some decent damage to him. Alright, come on. Come on. Almost there. I decided to run, just because I didn't want to risk tanking that giant freaking nuke. And, well, here's our last opening that we need. One more hit, and he's done for. How did I miss that? Okay. There we go. Alright, Placidusax down. That took a few tries, but it wasn't too bad. And we're almost halfway there. Next is Gideon, of course. Not a Remembrance boss, but it is still fun. Waterfowl Dance is great against NPC invaders and stuff like Gideon, other Tarnished. They just have no idea what to do about it. It's so funny. And I tried to parry Horolu, but that didn't go too well. Now, parrying Godfrey is very satisfying, but it does get more difficult in phase 2. But this was overall a pretty good fight. Like many others, it did take a few tries, but we eventually got the hang of it. So yeah, I specifically tried to do the parry stuff with this fight, just because it was good practice for what's to come. mainly for Malenia. I was a bit worried about that fight just because, well, I'd never tried anything with a shield against Malenia before. So I had a bad feeling that it was going to take me a while. Now, phase 2 of Godfrey right here wasn't nearly as fun as phase 1. His attacks are a lot more difficult to parry in phase 2, but it's still doable. And getting the poise break is quite nice. Again, when you get that counter attack off, it does so much poise damage and it is so satisfying. Plus it makes a really cool noise. It's like ping, kind of like the M1 Garand ping, you know? And we actually shredded this guy in phase 2 this run. Though I did almost die there, but you know, it happens. So Radagon and the Elden Beast are up next, of course. And Radagon is such a good fight for parrying. Like, I had so much fun with it. I lost a lot. Like, I spent a couple hours on Radagon, but that was just because I was trying to get the perfect run, or a near perfect run to show you guys, because it was so satisfying. You'll see in a minute. But yeah, Radagon, I died a lot trying to learn his attacks and which ones I can parry, which ones I can't. But eventually, we did get the hang of it. I'll show you a bunch of deaths first, because that's fun. A lot of my attempts went like this, where I would just start and get immediately destroyed because I missed time to parry. But most of them went pretty well. Not this one though. That was bad. So I would start off each fight by giving myself Lord's Divine Fortification, just for some holy damage resist. It doesn't buff our weapon damage, it's just a defense boost, so I am allowing that, especially because I will be needing it for Radahn later on, that's for sure. And I would always start off my attempts with a jump attack, and then 3 light attacks. After that, I could usually do 2 charged attacks or 1 parry, and that would get the stance break immediately. Now after the start of the fight, that initial poise break right there, it's a lot less scripted, and I didn't really have too much control as to what happened after that, so I just tried my best to dodge and parry what I could. And if I got a bad run, I would usually just back out and let him unlive me. Now he does this cool attack right here, and when you parry that, you get sent back into a backwards roll, and I just found that to be sick. There's a bunch of attacks that do that, from bosses especially, so keep an eye out for that. I just find it really satisfying personally. So Radagon, again, was very satisfying to learn his moveset and to learn how to parry him, but the Elden Beast was not at all. I basically didn't fight him any differently than I would with any other build, and that kind of made me sad. And this is a common theme for a lot of the bosses in this game. You know, this isn't Sekiro or Lies of P. The bosses weren't meant to be parried so much as they were just meant to be attacked and dodged. Especially the eldritch beings like the Elden Beast or like Astel or, I don't know, the Mother of Fingers, I guess. That being said, there definitely are some good fights for this build, especially Malenia. That was hands down the best. That was so much fun. And Radahn phase 1 was also a lot of fun. And to be honest, right here, the Elden Beast fight was kind of boring. Essentially, I would start it off by doing 7 jump attacks, which would get the stance break, the poise break, and then I'd do a little stabby stab here. And then after that, I mean, I was just chasing him around the map and doing jump attacks when I could, and yeah, it's not the most interesting fight. I'm gonna skip ahead a bit. Wow, we're not even halfway done, and we're already at 36 minutes of video. That is, not great. Whatever, I'll make it work. I decided for a lot of these bosses that I would finish them off with a waterfowl dance, just because it's fun, and it looks cool. So, I did that with Elden Beast right here. And that only left 2 more bosses from the main game, that being Mohg and Malenia. But that left us with a choice. What ending are we gonna choose? We can do Ronnie's, we can summon our queen, our lovely queen. Or we could do the death ending, the curse mark of death, with those who live in death. Or we could do the regular ending. But you guys are going to have to wait until the end of the video to figure out which one I chose. You know, viewer retention and all that. And don't skip ahead. I'll know. And I'll come to your house and, I don't know, probably give you a high five. But it won't be very crisp. It'll be really awkward. And we're not going to get a second try either. It'll be like one of those really weird, awkward high fives where like you half miss and it doesn't even make a sound. And then I'm just going to awkwardly stare at you and just walk away. It's going to be really unsatisfying, I promise. Ooh, that was a good stance break. Okay. Let's get the Scarlet Rot off. Is he even susceptible to it? Who knows? Probably. Oh yeah. Nice. Ow. Ah. Elf. Get parried, loser. He's got to be close to another stance break. Yeah. There we go. Oh man, this is a good fight. And the bleed, yes. I don't think we can finish him off before he starts this, but we should be able to right after. Yeah, I mean, he barely has any health. I think if we even just let the Scarlet Rot do its thing, he would just die. But, oh god. Let's back up a second. Hang on, don't do that. Alright, see you, Mohg. Well, that was easy. And satisfying. Nice. So I basically just sprinted past everything in the Hallowed Tree to get to Malenia as quickly as possible. Just because this run was already taking a while. And good lord, 10 hours. I don't know why it took so long. I was going really slow. But we made it to her pretty quickly. Loretta didn't give us any trouble. She was pretty easy. And... yeah, this took a few tries. So we make it to the bottom of the Hallowed Tree. And, well... I run into my doppelganger. Now, I'm guessing that my Mimic Tier just got loose here. Or maybe I'm the Mimic Tier. After all, she is taller. And she has the rot. Guys, am I real? Am I just a Mimic Tier? Is any of this real at all? No. Well, maybe. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's get to work. Yeah, as I've alluded to, this took many tries. But it was the most satisfying boss fight that I've done in so long. Actually, it only took about 2 hours. That's not too bad. Alright, this is the winning run. I'm not gonna talk. That was a tough one. I probably should have died there. And as you saw at the end, I was a little bit too scared to try to parry her. But that's okay. Now, next up, we had to go to the Tower of Return, and then all the way through Lane-Dell in order to get to the isolated Divine Tower, I think it's called, in order to activate Malenia's Great Rune, which we're going to try to use that for as much of the rest of the run as possible, though rune arcs can be a bit difficult to come by at some points, so I don't actually get too much use out of it. So I ran around for a bit to collect some Scatty Tree fragments and unlock some Sites of Grace and all that good stuff before I actually started to fight bosses, but eventually I felt prepared enough to challenge the first boss, the Divine Beast Dancing Lion. And I was a little bit worried because I wasn't too sure how to parry this one. It's a lot easier when the enemy has a sword and you can like read their attacks, and I don't know, I think it's a mental thing, honestly. Like, how the hell are you gonna parry a giant charging freaking lion? Like, it just doesn't make sense in my mind that that would work, even though it does. So I think that just messed with me a bit. So yeah, my first try was a very quick fail, but my second try went a lot better. Unfortunately, I missed my poise break opportunity there, but we still finished him off. The Divine Beast Dancing Lion is dealt with. We're at 16 out of 26, only 10 left. Next up would be Rellana. And I thought this was going to be like a really fun fight, because, you know, she uses swords and parrying and riposting and counterattacks, but it really wasn't. Her combos just go on way too long, and also sometimes they're hard to read because she does different combinations of combos, you know? So it's like, do I parry this one and then attack, or do I keep parrying, or, you know? So it got confusing. I mostly just tanked my way through the fight with all of my healing, but there will be better. See, like right here, that looked like the end of the combo, but it wasn't, and then she kept attacking, and then I got hit. That's how it goes. I'm not a huge fan of Rellana's moveset. But we kept dodging and parrying and attacking, and eventually we got this sick poise break, which would hopefully allow me to finish the job with one last waterfowl dance. Nice. Look at this Aurelian Coast, it's so pretty. I love it. So peaceful. I've said that so many times in like all of my videos, but I love it. And I hate this place so much. But as you can guess, since we're going to the Deepstone Crypt, we're fighting the Putrescent Knight next. And much like the Dancing Lion, my first try did not go super well. But my second try went a lot better. I had a little bit of difficulty with this one. He has a lot of weird, slightly delayed attacks, which just threw me off a bunch. And I'm just generally not very good at dodging his attacks, except for like the one where he gets off his horse sounds usually pretty easy. But like these attacks right here, I suck at reading them. That's just a me problem, skill issue. Alright, do something that I can hit. Okay, well at least I can dodge this. And we get a sick little opening right here. Perfect. Yeah, we're doing decent damage. Like, it's not bad. Okay, well we can finish him off after this little attack right here. Should be fine. Waterfowl dance? Yes. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, that wasn't bad at all, but this was. Messmer was not fun. Can confirm. He also has some delayed attacks that I just have trouble reading, and I don't know. I don't think I was playing too well when I was fighting Messmer right here. So it took me a very long time, way longer than it should have. Also, I got hit by that attack so many times, got him so bad. Yeah, he can be Scarlet Rotted, so I usually tried to set that up first. And it would usually take 2 because he moves around so much. Alright, this should be good. We'll get the Scarlet Rot on him. Take some good damage and just keep dodging and healing and we'll be fine. There we go. We got a nice counterattack there as well. Good God, I should have died there. Okay, so this would probably be a good time to mention the memberships before I forget. So I do have memberships on my channel now. If you guys want to join, that would be amazing. If not, that's fine. I've never joined a YouTube membership, so like, no pressure. But essentially, tier 1 is $1. You get early access to videos and like a badge by your name and changes every couple of months for however long you stay a member or something like that. And then I also have a tier 2 that's $2 a month. And I've decided that for the first 100 people that become tier 2 members, if you make it to 6 months, I will bake you cookies and send them to your home. If you want to join. But if you don't, that's fine. It doesn't really make a huge difference for me. I just wanted to put the option out there. Like many of the other bosses, I wanted to take Messmer out with a waterfowl dance, and we successfully did that. So, it didn't take too long, but it was kind of annoying. I was not a huge fan of this boss fight with this build. That's okay. On to Commander Gaius, who for once wasn't the absolute worst. So I would always start by trying to get a Scarlet Rot off on him. And, well, I mean, if I could survive getting it off, it would only take 1 attack, which is nice. Plus, his attacks are easy enough to read and easy enough to parry and punish, so it's actually quite fun. And that is probably the first and last time I'll ever say that about Commander Gaius. Wow, we're already at 19. Good lord. At the time of editing, this video is like 53 minutes long, so I might have to find some stuff to cut from earlier in the video. I mean, you guys won't be able to know the difference, but I will. So we got that sweet poise break on him, and that takes us right into phase 2. Now, phase 2 isn't really much different from phase 1. He just has some extra gravity attacks that we have to dodge. It's not too bad. We actually get another poise break, not too far in the future. Sure, we'll go with that. Good God, why can I not speak? You know, talking is hard sometimes. You guys get it. You get it. I probably shouldn't leave that all in there because it sounds unprofessional, but like, Well, Gaius is dealt with, and we can move on. I think let's take on Midra. I love the Abyssal Woods, especially like all the messages that the devs put in there. Like, you can't even touch it. If it sees you, you'll die. I don't remember what they say. But my first time through here, I thought something was gonna like jump out of the trees and like just grab me out of nowhere. Then just, you know? I thought, I was actually genuinely scared my first time in the Abyssal Woods. Not even gonna lie. That's why I love it so much. Okay. Thank God, I thought we were gonna get hit by that. Oh God. Whew. Nice. One more hit and we get a poise break. Yeah. And a bleed. Okay. This is going well. Nice. Oh, no way. I didn't think that was gonna work. Alright, well. Who's next? That was fun. Yeah, that was a good one. Even watching it back, like, it's pretty satisfying. I make my way up to Jagged Peak next to fight Bayle the Dread Dragon, and of course, I have to summon Egon.
Curse you, Bayle! I hereby vow you will rue this day. Behold, a true great warrior, and I, Egon, your fears made flesh. Solid scale you might be, foul dragon. Rotten high, with a hail of harpoons, with every last drop of my being.
Yeah, Scarlet Rot works wonders against our buddy Bayle right here. So this fight was super easy. Egon, of course, carried us. He did most of the damage. Basically soloed him. I was just there for moral support. But, you know, that's how it goes. What do we have left? We have Romina, the Mother of Fingers, Radahn, and the Sunflowers? Yeah. Okay, almost there. Yeah, nothing too interesting happened with the Sunflowers here. I'm just gonna skip through these guys because honestly this fight wasn't very interesting and I need to cut some stuff out because this video is gonna be so long if I don't. I buried a little bit for the first one, but the second one was really satisfying because his initial charge attacks you could parry very, very easily. Parry very. That rhymes. Oh. Okay, yeah, watch this. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's what parrying sounds like in my head. Regardless, Sunflowers weren't too bad. On my way to complete the Mother of Fingers questline, I made sure to grab the golden braid from up here in this little village, which I love this village. It's so pretty. I love all the flowers. But yeah, it's time to defeat the Mother of Fingers and get on with this run. And I died my first run, not gonna lie. She smashed me a bunch, but my second run went a lot better. Maybe not a lot better, but slightly better. We basically just got the Scarlet Rot off on her. That did a bunch of damage over time. We got some jump attacks and some slashes, got her into phase 2, and then dodged this attack by staying kind of close but not super close, and smacked her around a few more times before she perished. We did a lot of damage with our sword, so pretty easy fight. This just leaves Romina and then Rykard? Rellana. Ronnie? No, it's Radahn. Yeah. Romina and then Radahn. And I wasn't worried about this fight. The katana is a very close range weapon, and Romina is a very close range boss, so as long as we stick close to her, we're probably fine. You know, this was kind of scary though. Malenia isn't a huge fan of Scarlet Rot, so you know, as long as we don't get rotted, we should be okay. Well, we got rotted and the clock was ticking, but I still had some healing flasks, so as long as I can stay alive a bit longer and do some more damage, I think we can win this. Still got a chance. Especially because we can poise break her pretty easily with these counterattacks. Actually, I believe they're called guard counters. I can't believe it took me this entire video to remember their actual name. That's fine. I'd say that was a pretty good finish. Alright. Now all that's left is Rellana. Alright, anyway, on to the final fight. I have 60 vigor right now, which isn't too much, but it's also not a small amount, and it was the perfect amount to get me through this after about 4 hours of attempts. So the first thing I always started with was Scarlet Rot because it only took one hit to get him rotted. And that would basically just get us a free phase 2. Like if I wanted to, I could just run away and dodge his attacks and let the rot do its thing. But where's the fun in that? So I learned how to parry a lot of his attacks and punish him, and he does have a lot of poise, so I didn't get a poise break too often, but occasionally I did. And I think the reason it took so long is I just wasn't playing too well, honestly. That's why I got nearly a victory on my 4th attempt, and then for the next 3 hours died over and over again. I think my brain was just being slow and cooked, and I'd played Elden Ring all day at that point, so yeah. Skill issue. Oh, that took way too long. Good lord, look at my health. I have literally none. Thank God it's over. Oh my god, wow. That was a fun run. That was a lot of fun. Hi, Daisy. Well, if you guys like this sort of content and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Helps me out so much. You have no idea. If not, that's totally fine. Your viewership, as always, is enough for me. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good one.
The battle is over, I see. Well then, shall we? My fair consort eternal.